Microsoft Teams can be used to coordinate and organize collaborative work. So students who are working on a group project are going to need to meet and share documents and share resources to work on a project, and they can do that using Microsoft Teams. Teams can be completely student run. So students can set up a team, add members to it, and just manage that team completely on their own. A faculty member does not have to be involved with Microsoft Teams. However, there is the option for those students to call on a professor and ask them to meet with them, whether that's for an impromptu meeting or to schedule a meeting if they need help. So it can be used as a video conferencing tool, but it also has many other capabilities. You can also use Microsoft Teams to manage multi-semester projects, such as capstones. What can teams do to facilitate group work? So members of the team can upload files to be used in a shared space. So it's a good file sharing resource, whether that be documents that they're working on or resources that they found, articles that they found. They can use Teams to schedule meetings. Teams interfaces with Outlook. So if you create a meeting in Teams, it will also show up in an Outlook calendar. So these meetings could be face-to-face meetings, or more importantly, in today's day and age, they can be video conferences. So we already have Zoom for video conferencing, but Microsoft Teams has some additional functionality that is going to make it very attractive for group work. Members of a team can also call impromptu meetings. So you don't have to schedule things in advance. If two students need to meet, or if the whole group decides they want to meet, then they can call an impromptu meeting. So it could be some or all of the members joining that particular meeting. During these meetings, they can work on Microsoft documents simultaneously while video conferencing. They can also work on those documents when they're not connected with anyone else. But the real strength is being able to do that work collaboratively while video conferencing. Sure, if they use OneDrive, they're going to be able to work on a document at the same time, but they won't have that conferencing ability. So Teams has all of these features built into it. If they're not using a Microsoft product, so if they're using, say, SPSS or Mathematica or some other software application that is not a Microsoft product, they can still work together. So through screen sharing, so if one person is working on, say, an SPSS file, everyone can see what's going on in that file. And if the host needs some help, then they can grant control to other members of the team. And then those other team members will have a mouse that appears on the screen, and they can actually click on things in the software package. They can use Teams to assign tasks to different members, and this will help to keep everyone on the same page. So if they're working in a group and they're deciding to divide up some work, decide what they're going to have done for the next meeting, you can they can assign tasks to different members of the group, so they can decide what has to be done, who's going to do it, and they can set a deadline. So everyone will be able to see those tasks. Everyone in the team will be able to see those tasks and know what to expect of the other teammates. Finally, you can use Teams to keep track of team conversations using the chat function. So even if a teammate is not logged on, they'll be able to go back in later and see what their teammates talked about using the chat function. The chat function can also be used to share documents. In this video, I'm going to focus on the basics, the things you need to know, or your students need to know to get a team up and running and to take advantage of the basic functionalities. First thing we need to do is create a team. So on the left here, I'm going to click on Teams. It's going to show all the teams I've created so far. We're going to click Join or Create a Team here. We're going to create a new team. It gives you several different options here. Class, that would replace Schoology, which we're not going to do, so that's not appropriate to use. We're going to stick with Other. So Other is for clubs, study groups, after-school activities. And again, I'm doing this from the perspective of students creating these working groups to do collaborative work within your class. Need a team name. So I'm just going to call this a practice team, or I'll call it the demonstration team. You can put in a description here. It's not necessary. 2 different privacy levels. Only the team owner can add members, or any member of the organization can join. We're going to keep that private. So now it's creating the team, and it's going to ask who is going to be in this team. So if you're the one creating it, you're already going to be in there. So for your student who is doing this, they're already going to be in it automatically. And then I'm going to add some other people. So this is linked to our Office 365 products. So we have people in here that will pop up when I start to type their names. So I'm just going to add Marissa and Steve to this group right now. Click Add, and they are members. The students might choose to make everybody an owner to give everybody full control. I'm not going to bother doing that right now. Okay, so this is the landing page for the team. And you see on the left, we have some options. At the top, we have some tabs. And at the bottom, we have some commands. So I'm going to go through those rather quickly. So on the left, these are all global commands. What I mean by that is they are commands that aren't tied with this one specific team. So the chat is going to show me all the teams that I'm a member of and what's going on with those. And I can click different groups to see different chats. If I click on files, it's not going to show me files for my team. It's going to show me my global files. So this is my OneDrive, basically. These are recent files, and everything that I've looked at recently are in OneDrive, so that's why it's showing up there. I can also just click OneDrive there. I can click my Google Drive. It's going to show me my cloud storage. And that's global. Again, that's not tied to any specific team. That's tied to me as a user. If I click on Microsoft Teams, here it's going to show me all the files that are shared amongst the various teams that I'm on. And you can sort those by when they're modified, so you can see the newest one at the top. You can sort them by name. You can sort them by type. Okay, so I want to work within this one team. So I'm going to click on Teams, and it's going to go back to the last team I was in. If I want to go to another team, I just click on Teams again. It gives me the full list. Okay, so again, all of these are global. So let's focus on what's going on within this team. So we have posts. So this is where you would have the group chat. So students, instead of using email correspondence or text messages, if they use Microsoft Teams, everything will be in the same place. Whether they're setting up meetings or they're talking about who's going to do what, or if someone has a question that they need help with, all that can be in one place and be pretty well organized. So you can start a conversation, like it says down here, just by clicking in there and typing something. You can mention someone using the @ symbol. You can use emojis and all kind of stuff down there. I'm going to get to that later, really just focusing on this one function to create a meeting. Okay, this next tab is Files, and there are no files for this team, so it's going to be empty, but we can easily add that. I'm going to add a file that is a sample outline that I use in one of my classes, and we'll just kind of pretend that that is a file that was created by students and show how we'll be able to work on that within a meeting. So they can put that file here. If we open it, it's going to open it within Teams. So we still see the Teams outline here, and it has opened the Word application, the Office 365 online version of Word in here. Whatever we change, whatever we type, whatever we delete is going to be saved automatically, because that's how the online applications work. We can add comments, we can do editing, we can have a chat about it. So these are really good functions for students wanting to work on the document together. I'm going to close that document for now. Okay, so they can be working on that document at the same time without really conversing. But the strength of Microsoft Teams is the ability to work collaboratively in real time, as well as to track progress of a project through time and to keep everything organized in one place. So let's imagine that that a student wants to call a meeting to work on this outline draft that I've uploaded. So we would click the camera icon, which says Meet Now. Now when I click Meet Now, it's going to give me additional options. So it's going to say, do I really want to meet now, or do I want to schedule a meeting? So if I choose schedule a meeting, then it's going to give me, ask me for a title, tell me who's supposed to attend, and give the date and time and so on. I'm going to close, and then it'll send that notification to the members of the team who are in the attendee file field here. Okay, so I closed out of that because I want to call a meeting for right now. So yes, I'm going to say meet now, and it's going to show me people over here. It's just me, and then 2 suggestions. My teammates are suggested here. They're not going to be in the meeting until I click ask to join, and I'm not going to do that right now. So it's just going to be me in this meeting. So we have the same panel that you saw on the left in the other screen is still there. We have an option up here to create a chat, and that will show up on the right as well to chat within this meeting. You have the elapsed time for the meeting here. That's not recording. We haven't told it to record yet, so it's just counting the amount of time that we've been in the meeting. Turn off your camera, mute yourself, screen share. And so if we do screen share, there's a couple important things here to pay attention to. If you're not comfortable with or familiar with screen sharing, you have the option to share your entire desktop. And so that would be literally everything that you can see on your desktop, whether you have multiple documents open, uh, it'll show all of those. Another option is just a window. So you can pick just the Microsoft Teams window, which really wouldn't serve a point. But I do have a file open here. This is a draft of the content for this video that I'm making. So that is something that is open on my desktop. I can click it, and it will share just that part of the screen. So the red box here shows that that's what's being shared. And down here, again, we have a minimized version of the menu, and we can click stop sharing at any time to go back to the regular view. So here I could show students, um, students could show each other what they've done to a document. Again, this is a desktop document. This is not a shared document at this point. I'm going to stop screen sharing. Okay, now the 3 dots here, again, another menu. This is where you would start a recording. Once you started it, that would also be where you go to stop it. Show device settings, that's going to be for setting up your microphone and your speakers and camera and so on. And then you have the end meeting, and of course, turn off incoming video. If it's getting a little laggy, you might want to prevent other people from showing up on your video feed. There's a raise hand option here. To call attention if someone wants to contribute. There's a show conversation, which pops up that group chat over here. And then again, this is the show participants, again, with other members of the team who aren't participating now showing up here, and they can be invited. Okay, so I am going to go to my team and go to Files and open up this file. And so you see when I open up that file, it automatically minimizes the video conferencing controls. So I'm still in the video conference. So if everyone in the conference call navigates to that same place, they'll be able to see everyone's changes in real time. When I'm done with it, I can click close, then go back to the meeting, and we're kind of back to where we started from. So those are the basics for using video conferencing. So I'm going to hang up here and talk about one more feature. Okay, so I had mentioned at the beginning that you can use Teams to assign tasks. So that's what we're going to do now. So up here you have the plus sign, that's add a tab, and you can add different applications as a tab there, and we're going to use Planner. Okay, so we're going to put the Planner within Microsoft Teams, make that tool available to this team, and this is what we're going to name the tab. So I'm going to call it Tasks. So here you see we have a new tab that has appeared. It is tasks, and it's because this is the first time we've accessed this tab, it's giving me the option to create a new task. So we're going to create a new task and say revise outline. I'm going to set a due date. So imagine this is an outline that students are going to turn in to you, and in your course, maybe it's due on the 22nd. So the students may want to set a due date of the 19th. So the student who is working on revising the outline is given till the 19th to do that, to allow the teammates enough time to respond to that revision and make other changes that might be necessary. Okay, we need to assign that to a person or persons. So I'm going to assign that to Marissa. You can have one person or multiple people assigned to a task. I'm just going to have Marissa there, and then add the task, and there it is. Okay, so now we see that there's one task for this team. If you have multiple tasks, there are different ways that you can sort it and organize it using the group function over here. But unless you have a lot of tasks, this view should be just fine. I'm going to show you one more thing. So if you prefer to use Zoom instead of using Microsoft Teams for your meetings, you can actually use Zoom within Microsoft Teams. So if you click the apps icon there, then you can actually search for Zoom. And by clicking on it, you can add it to Microsoft Teams. So now you'll see on the left, there's a new button for Zoom here, and you're going to be able to schedule meetings within Zoom, within Microsoft Teams that utilize the Zoom interface. Okay, so those I think are the basics for using Microsoft Teams. I think it's a great resource to help students to organize their collaborative work. It keeps a record of the work that has been done, so you could check in from time to time and see who is doing what and who has submitted what to the group and who's been meeting and if they have been meeting. And again, like I said before, it's also a way that the students can call you in and ask you to join their team to help them out with problems.